too. So helping my clients buy and sell real estate.
Are you putting anything on the market yourself?
To flip?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got two properties.
Okay.
Yeah, I got two properties that I'm getting ready. That should be hitting the market in the next couple of weeks.
That's all she does is flip properties.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Pronounce it one more time for me.
Rashauna.
Rashauna. Gotcha. Rashauna.
You ready, Charles?
Yep.
Cool.
This is 122, I believe.
No, this is
123. Okay. Yeah, HBB is 122.
Mm-hmm.
You guys do any editing? Is this?
Yeah. We have an editor.
Yep. Let's kick it. This is the Todd Capital Millionaire Podcast, episode 123. My name is Charles Oglesby, also known as Todd Millionaire, founder and director of the Todd Capital Investment Club. We have a lot of members doing a lot of really cool stuff. Welcome to the show with the co-host Rashauna Scott. She is the founder of Flippin' in Heels. You can find her on Instagram at Rashauna Scott. Make sure you leave us a rating or review. We like 5-star reviews, and we like a lot of reviews. Reviews are how we get the show to the top of the charts, so we need more reviews. Help us get the word out. Help us get ranked. Thank you for tuning in. You all know the purpose of this podcast is to share the stories of successful African-American business owners and investors so that people can hear the stories of successful examples. If you don't see it, you can't be it. We want people to learn that business and investing are the true keys to financial success and generational wealth. With us today, we have Mr. Tyron Gordon. He goes by Duck Sauce on Instagram. Welcome to the show, brother.
Thank you, Todd. I appreciate it, man. It's the opportunity that I've been waiting for.
He has. He's been sending me messages a few times before. So cool. Can you tell us who you are, where you're from, and what you've been up to lately?
So my name is Tyron Gordon. Everybody call me Duck or Duck Sauce. I started real estate about a year and a half ago. I was working at Enterprise Rental Car as a manager. I had been working there for about 3 years. I just got to a point where like the working a 9 to 5 wasn't me. I knew it wasn't me. I didn't know anything about real estate when I did quit. I ended up quitting Enterprise. And then I ran across wholesaling. I saw a lot of people wholesaling on Instagram and the internet and YouTube and stuff like that. So I started looking into it. I found a property near one of my best friend's house. It was a vacant lot. I got it under contract at $18,000. I found the buyer fairly quickly at $42,000. So my first deal was like right under like $22,000. Once like I had to pay a few like taxes and stuff like that. So I got an assignment for $22,000.
Wow.
Not bad for a first deal.
And that happened in 30 days. I found it, closed it all in 30 days. Like it was unbelievable. It was like God had just dropped.
That's cool.
A blessing in my lap.
So how did you find the deal? How did you go about marketing and getting that deal?
Actually, me and my friend we was going out to eat. I was actually going to pick him up, and he was actually taking too long to get dressed. So I looked up. I seen a lot across the street. I had already been like sending postcards, knocking on doors, different stuff like that. So I seen a lot. It was well maintained. Grass was cut, and I was just wasting time, looking up information and stuff like that. So I pulled up the lot, found the owner, ended up calling the owner as I was sitting right in front, waiting on my friend. And we were supposed to meet up that Monday. We met that Monday, and from there, got it under contract, got it sold.
So most people think wholesaling, and they think wholesaling a house. You wholesold, I guess it's past tense, land.
Right.
How did you know there was value in that land?
Actually, I didn't. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I hadn't ran the comps. I hadn't ran anything. I was just so hungry to get, something under contract and
Right.
to really learn a business. I wasn't even focused on the money at that point. It's, I guess that I went through the steps the proper way. Of course. So that's how that one kind of failed. But the guy told me, he said, "Man, look, I want 18,000 for it," and I was just like, "Okay." And I took what he said, and when I got home and ran the numbers, man, I saw a lot selling for like 45,000 in that area. So at that point, I knew I had something.
Nice.
So what gave you like the confidence to do? I mean, I know you say like you were hungry and you was just gonna figure it out, but I guess you had quit your job, so you was like, this gotta work. Is that really what it was? And then also like you even finding the contracts, knowing it was the right contracts, knowing how to fill out the contracts. Like, was it a lot of YouTube? Was it podcasts? What was it that really helped you solidify, giving you that confidence to be like, I can do this?
Well, at the time I had just quit my job. So the real motivation was I had quit my job. I moved out of the house that I was staying in and moved in with my sister and was sleeping on her couch. So I was like, man, I gotta do something. But as far as like the contracts and things to that nature, I was just like on YouTube. Of course, I was like following Max, House Brian, people like that. And was just like looking at different YouTube videos, looking at everybody page, everybody who was like giving insight on the business. Like, I was just taking heed to what they were saying. At the time, I was just using a usual Louisiana purchase sale agreement. I didn't even know how to fill out the contracts or agreements. And people who I was going to locally, they wasn't helping.
Right.
I was like hitting up people from out of town. Like, a guy from North Carolina had helped me at one point. I guess I was asking too many questions. When you first come into this business, like you have a question about every little thing. And
yeah.
I was like annoying to him. And I didn't blame him, but I was like, I got to get these answers.
By any means.
Right. So what was the next deal like?
The next deal was actually like a mile away from that deal. It was actually another lot. So I saw a guy cutting some grass when I was passing up a lot, and I just stopped and I asked him, was he interested in selling? And he was like, man, it's not my lot, but I'm gonna be honest with you, it's my mother-in-law's lot, and they're going through some financial difficulties. So if you put in a good offer for it, I think that she will take it. So he gave me the number. I ended up calling her. At the time, she was like, she was gonna build on it. A lot of people say, I'm gonna build on it. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. For like a month straight, I just kept calling. So she told me to like pass by her house. I talked to her. I think she just wanted to see like whether I was legit or not, and what I was doing. So ended up stopping. I brought a blank contract with me just in case, and we came to an agreement. And I ended up getting that one on the contract. It wasn't such a big assignment. I think I made like 4,500 on that one. But 4,500 is a.
Yeah, and how long did it take for that one to sell?
That was like a month and a half. It had like a few liens and judgments on that one.
So a lot of people who are interested in getting into wholesaling, they always have that fear of putting a house under contract, and so there's like a 30-day window, and then that 30-day window lapses. What do you do if you aren't able to close within that time?
You just be honest, man. Like, the biggest thing in this game is just honest, like being honest and like your integrity. So like, if you can't close in 30 days, be upfront with the seller. Let them know what's going on. And 9 times out of 10, it has happened to me. You can get an extension. Like, I didn't have people under contract for 90 days.
Wow.
It all depends on your communication, level with them.
Right.
the relationship that you have grown, you know, and just being honest. That's you just have to be honest.
Before we speed past this, I know we're trying to take it. I want to know what you did with the money on the first deal. You made $22K on your first deal. Did you all out?
That ain't none of your business. Tell them it's none of your business.
So I started my marketing at that point. I had at this time, bandit signs wasn't such over, like it's now illegal basically. Like they spray paint your number off the
wow
and everything down here. So I had brought like I think like 5,000 bandit signs. I had brought some mailers, and then I had got me an apartment.
Nice.
I actually wilded out. I had got me an apartment in New Orleans. I was like, man, I'm up. So, you know, like I got me a condo. I put some money into marketing, and that was really it, man. I spent about $5,000 of that money.
Yeah, I like what's dope is that like you grew as you kind of did deals. Yeah. And so like in the beginning, you just did deals how you can get the deals. You weren't over here like, I need to have 20 grand lined up for marketing. If I don't, I can't even do it. Some people, that's what they do. They're like, I need to have the automation, I need to have answering service, I need to have all these things lined up. Right. And it's like, bro, just like get started. Go call the person next door that's cutting his lawn.
Right. I think the biggest thing with that is like I was telling the guy the other day, he was like, man, I need like, I calculated it. I did a rough estimate. I think I need about 13,000 to start. I was like, man, when you not having no money, you already ahead of 95% of people in real estate, because your hunger is gonna like cause you to get more deals. Right. People who have money, who's coming into real estate, they're not really hungry, they're thirsty. So they just looking for the right situation and throwing money out of there. When you don't have money, like when I first got that 22,000, I knew that I had a little bit of change, but I knew that I didn't really have money. So that's the only reason why I didn't splurge, you know, with that money. But yeah, coming in with no money, man, it's the best way to come in because you don't have nothing to lose.
Right.
So I want to ask you about assignment fees. So are you explaining assignment fees like to the sellers, or how do you explain it, or do they just kind of find out at the closing?
Well, when I started out, I was explaining it. Lately, I just been purchasing my own deals lately. So that's been a blessing.
But starting out, you said you weren't explaining it?
I was.
Okay. So how do you explain it, an assignment fee to a seller?
So basically, I break it down and let the seller know that I have a list of strong buyers. You know, I have a team of buyers who would be buying the property. And most of my sellers, to be honest with you, like as long as I went through with the deal, they wasn't really concerned with like was I signing a deal or making money, anything like that. They was more concerned with just getting money and getting out of it.
So nobody got to the closing table and was like, "What's this $22,000? Like what?"
I'm gonna be honest with you. This woman about 6 months ago, it was a small assignment too. It was like 2,500. She was like, "What is it? What do I owe 2,500 for?" I was like, "Well, you know, I told you." And we actually had to stop the closing at that point, and like everybody had to leave, and I had to like speak to the woman one-on-one. This was a deal that I got virtually over the phone. And a woman, you know, she wanted to know what the 2,500 was for, and I explained it to her, letting her know that, you know, I did find a buyer. That was just my fee of finding a buyer and, you know, basically hooking them two up. And after I really explained it to her, she was fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So I had a question. I forgot. We can edit this part out.
You know what's interesting about your story is in the beginning, it seemed like you were doing. At first, I thought you were doing marketing, mailing, but you were finding deals just by like kind of driving for dollars and calling people there.
Right.
And so How are you finding your buyers?
Driving for buyers.
I've never heard that.
D4B. Yeah, I never heard that either.
So basically, all you do is, so you got to understand, I was getting
Look
locked.
for the Rolls Royces.
So basically, at that time, I had so many lots that anybody who was dropping piles, I'm getting their information.
You was the lot man.
Right. So anybody dropping piles, I'm getting their numbers. I remember at one
what?
I had a truck, the truck driver who dropped the piles off to all the location.
What is that? What is a POW?
The piles. We call them piles. So it's piles that go on the ground in New Orleans that holds the house up. So it's basically like, God, these long pieces of wood basically that the house sits on top of the foundation. So you have to put those in the ground before you start building the house.
Okay.
So I had a guy who was dropping those off at each location for people to build new construction. So I was like, man, if you bring me 50 names in a month, I'll give you $100. So basically it was a no-brainer because everybody who we bring those to was a potential buyer. So I had that going. When I would look for property, I would just look for who's building the area and just, jot it down. And when I get home.
Right. And how did you find this guy? So you just saw him driving one day and you pulled up on him?
I actually saw him dropping off the pilings to a location, and I just
pilings.
Yeah, I just stopped and talked to him, and
nice.
The conversation was
that's really smart.
It is. It's very creative and strategic.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. So okay. So so at one point you were the lot man. So and then fast forward to today, you're out here buying commercial properties and whatnot. So what does that look like? What do you currently have going on? Are you doing buy and hold? Are you flipping? What's the main strategy now?
My main strategy that I'm walking into is flipping now. I just brought the commercial property. The commercial property is actually a barbershop. I know Charles gonna like that one. It's a barbershop with a house added to it, attached to it. It needs a full renovation. It's in a historical area in New Orleans. So I purchased it at $63,000. A guy actually called me yesterday and offered me $140,000.
Wow.
So I meet with an architect tomorrow to see what I want to do with it. But my goals is to turn it into a 4-unit apartment complex, or just sell it as is for the 140. I've been thinking about that the last 24 hours, honestly.
Nice. So the interesting thing is that we went from wholesaling to the end of the journey. When did you first start getting into buying real estate, and what did that first deal look like?
I brought my first piece of property. So it was the house that I grew up in since I was 8 years old. My grandmother had died. The taxes had kind of got backed up and whatnot. And at the time, I had just got a nice little assignment. So I was like, man, I always said that if it was one thing I could do for my grandmother before she passed, I was going to renovate her entire house.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually able to purchase that house, renovate it, and turn it into a rental.
That's dope.
I was able to keep the property into my family. So basically, me and my sister kind of looks over it. She's not really hands-on with it, but it's just a blessing to have it into our family. Yeah. It's still up in our hands.
That's so. I don't know if your grandma's neighborhood is like my grandma's neighborhood, but in my grandma's neighborhood, it's a bunch of other homes being cherry-picked and being renovated.
Yeah.
And so if you don't do what you did, you actually kind of lose, because you have to bring your grandma's property up to code or up to par with the other properties in that neighborhood. And I think that's so dope, because that's kind of what I was kind of plotting to do with her property. And it's also dope that you didn't sell it. You didn't wholesale it. You didn't take grandma's house and turn it into cash. And so I think that's really dope. So
he did turn it into cash, just cash flowing.
Cash flow. Don't turn your grandma's house into cash. Turn it into cash flow. That's a shirt right there.
Here he go with another tweet.
Shout out to Rashauna. That's gonna be a meme. We're gonna meme that all day. That's dope, man. So you still own that property. What else? What'd you do after that property?
After that property, I purchased another house. It was a double. Currently turning into a single right now. And I'm gonna flip that one. I actually got that one at a great price also.
So when you said double, you mean like a two unit?
Yeah, 2 unit.
Okay. Side by side?
Side by side.
And you said you turned it into a single family.
Currently turning it into a single family.
So what are the numbers on that? Because we do that happens in Chicago, in certain neighborhoods in Chicago, but that's usually in the $500,000 range.
Right.
Where that deconversion pretty much makes sense, you know? What are the numbers like that in your area?
Doubles are probably like just a little bit work less than single families down here. It just makes more sense to turn, like if you're gonna put it on the market, to a single family to get that full ARV. And most people who are buying doubles want to buy them like in not in a renovated state. They
want to go in and do the work like a 2 or 3K loan.
Right. So it's hard to kind of sell a double down here after it's renovated. It's more easier to sell a single family house. And then the neighborhood is more of a single family house neighborhood.
Yeah.
That's dope.
That's so interesting. That's why it's so important to know your market, because here, fully renovated, like 2 flats, they go quick, like multiple offers in the first 3 days. Because here, you know, a lot of people, if it's not renovated, then you're competing with investors and most of the time cash investors. So coming in, you know, trying to do a 2 or 3K loan and going through that process, it can be done, but your offer is less likely to get chosen in a multiple offer situation over over cash, obviously. Yeah. So what does that go for? So what's the purchase price on a double? What's the rehab look like to deconvert it from that to a single family? And what's the ARV?
You saying how much I paid for that property?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I paid $29,000 for that property. Renovation probably going to cost me like right at $120,000, $125,000. The ARV is at $375,000.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I actually got an offer for that one last month, as is, before I started the renovation. A guy offered me $89,000. Wow. So that could have been a $60,000 profit assignment. But I said, nah, I need the full.
Yeah. ARV. So how did you find that property? Because that was off market?
Yeah, off market, driving for dollars. Just seen that the property needed some love. Got inside of it, and it needed more than love.
Right. And
what's more than love?
Yeah, and you've mentioned
Jesus.
You've mentioned driving for dollars a couple times. On this interview. Can you just explain what that is to the folks who may not know?
So driving for dollars probably gonna be like the cheapest marketing that you'll ever do, ever. Only thing it is you filling up your tank with gas, picking a neighborhood or community, driving around there each block, seeing what houses are blighted, seeing what houses like may need a paint job, or it's just not modernized or just not up to code, and just write them down. Or there's a new app called Deal Machine, I believe.
Deal Machine.
Was using. I haven't used it yet, but I'm more bring my pad and my pen, gas up the car, write down all the addresses, and when I get home, just look them up.
And then how are you looking them up?
The assessor site. So we have every city has a assessor site. So ours is called NOLA Assessors. You can look them up like that.
Tax assessor.
So you look up who owns it.
Yeah.
And then how do you get in touch with them?
Either I go to the mailing address. Most people are local here, so you could just
pulling up. You bold.
Man.
Wow.
I I need to know. I need you to feel my presence. I need to talk to you. I need to touch you. I need you to remember me.
You knocking on doors.
Yeah,
Wow.
calling people is like the third option for me. I'm not calling nobody unless like I really can't find you. I'm not calling nobody. I need to see you. Like New Orleans is so small. 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna know you. One of my friends gonna know you. My family gonna know. I have a big like on my dad's side. I have like a lot of uncles. So like up in our neighborhood, like my grandmother's house, they know everybody. So only thing I have to do is like get a person name, tell them, and like they know them. 9 times out of 10, they grew up with them. Their friend grew up with them. So like my network and connection is like crazy down here.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like making that personal contact helps you get better deals?
Yeah,
I think
most definitely. I don't. The phone is like everybody's playing the phone right now. Everybody's hiding behind the phone. Nobody really want to do that face to face. And I think that once you go and like have that physical connection with somebody, like you got them. I didn't got deals lower than other people have, offered just because it's just a connection. People. I don't know what it is, but it's just a better feeling, that physical connection rather than on the phone.
Right.
Okay, so let's role play for a second. So what you say, Charles?
I said, go ahead, do you.
So you come and knock on my door. I don't know. Did y'all hit my knock, Charles? I don't know. My microphone is on.
Nah,
You not on your microphone.
You should clap.
Anyway, knock, knock. I open the door. I say, who is it?
How you doing, Ms. Scott? My name is Tyron. I was calling to speak. I was coming by to speak with you about the property that you have on 123 Main Street.
How'd you find me?
I had seen your information on a public website, and I was just coming by to see if you were interested.
A public website? My information is not listed.
Around that time, I usually show them where it is listed.
Okay, so you wanna buy my property at 123 Main Street. Mm-hmm. How much you want to pay for it?
Well, actually, I was asking, is there any way that we can actually view the property inside and out, so I can see what's the best offer that I can give you?
Wait a minute. I don't know you. You just came and knocked on my door, and now all of a sudden you want me to take you up in my property.
She has the accent.
Actually, do. That's how they be sounding, though.
So you want me to take you in my property, and I don't even know you. You just came and knocked on my door.
Yes, because I want to give you a full offer, make sure that it's fair, and make sure that I understand what I'm getting myself into without just being blindfolded.
And how do I know you're not out here scamming folks?
Well, I have a few properties in the area, such right around the corner at Blase Blah address. You're free to stop by and see the type of work that we're doing over there. I also have another property at such and such, and you're free to come stop by and see the type of work that we do and to see that we are legitimate, and we will get the job done.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So
the biggest thing, honestly, is that having that work to show people that, look, this is what I'm really doing. I'm not a gimmick. I'm not just trying to hop into this business. I'm actually doing this type of work. And when people see that, that goes like a long, everybody walks in and say, wow, like this work is great. We love it.
So what if I'm a newbie and I don't have any work to show yet?
You got to link up with a contractor.
Mm-hmm.
So your buyers should be doing work also, right? Your buyers should be getting some type of work done. And that's your work. If you found properties for these contractors, that's your work also, because you helped them get that property. So they should have no problem with you showing the work.
And not only that, you can't expect to have everything lined up in the beginning. So there's certain things that at deals 3, 4, 5, 6 that you might have available to you that you don't at deal 0, deal
right.
1. And that's why I always tell people, like, sometimes that first deal might be the most difficult. And then as you go forward, your track record speaks for itself. Your credentials speak for itself, but you can't let your lack of credentials prevent you from getting credentials. Like, you got to just grind it out that first deal.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Put that on the shirt too.
That's real. So back to role playing. So I don't think I want to sell my house right now, Mr. What did you say your name was?
Tyron Gordon.
What's the name of your company?
Mr. Gordon. Yeah, I don't think I want to sell my house right now.
Well, if you can, this is my contact number. I'm gonna give you my number. You can give me a call whenever you feel like it's around that time where you're comfortable with selling. I will stop by when I'm in the area. Like I said, I do have a property going on around the corner, so I will be dropping by every now and again, just checking on you, seeing how everything's going.
So you gonna come by again?
9 times out of 10.
Okay, and let's just say if I was to think about selling, how much would you gonna give me for that house?
Well, like I said, we would have to do a viewing so I know exactly what needs to be renovated, how much I'm spending out on renovation, so I know exactly what I can give you as far as the offer.
All right, Mr. Gordon. Well, thanks for stopping by.
But that's how I really be though. People, a lot of people just be wanting to offer like right off the bat. Like
right.
And I tell people all the time, never give an offer like that because you don't have nothing to stand on. Like, what is your offer based on?
Right.
And if you come with a low offer, you put a bad taste in somebody's mouth. They don't want to do business with you at all. No matter if you legit or not. People really hate that. Like when they feel like you don't know their work, people hate that. Man.
That makes sense. Because that's kind of insulting. If you've never seen the property and then you're just like, I'll give you 25 and it's nothing to really base it on. But if you walk through the property and you can say, well, this needs to be fixed. You need to fix this, need to fix this, blah, blah, blah. And I'll offer you 25. It's a lot softer than just that number without the justification for the number.
Right. And then you got to understand people have families and memories and stuff into this house. So like a property could be worth $25,000, but people will think like, I want $250,000 for my property because my neighbor sold his for $275, and I know that you're gonna come and make money. And it's like, come on.
Right. The sentimental value that they have is they trying to attach a number to that.
Right.
So what is your what are you currently doing now? What is all of that look like? We know you're deconverting 2 families to a single. What else you got going on?
I also have a new construction double going on. I don't know if you remember, but I showed you that double like 2 months ago. And I was asking, do you think I can get it done in 30 days? You remember that?
No, I don't remember that.
See, I have an upstairs, downstairs double going on. We actually having some troubles with permitting right now. So it's at a standstill. That for like the last 4 days.
So once you get past the permit process, that's the plan? 30 days?
Nah.
Oh, okay.
We got about 60 days left.
Okay.
Yeah, we got about 60 days left.
What did I say? I'm curious how that conversation went.
I was I think I had posted it on my story and I tagged you and Todd in it.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, I remember now. Yeah, I remember now.
Like, do y'all think I can get this done in 30 days? You was like, no. Actually, like you said it. You was like with the permitting, and you said something else. You said, nah, it's not gonna happen. You was like one of the only people that said no. Everybody else was like, yeah.
See, I'm gonna give you the real and the raw. But yeah, I know how that permitting process goes. But that's super cool that you're working on it and that you're going through it. And so you understand and So like in Chicago, we have, obviously when you're doing the construction, like you have to submit your plans to the city, and working with a self-certified architect helps push those plans through because they can submit their own plans rather than, waiting for them to get submitted.
Right. Yeah, that's how it is down here. We just having like a lot of stuff with our permit office and stuff like that. I don't know if you've seen, but like the hotel that collapsed yesterday and whatnot.
Yeah, I saw that.
So man, I had dreams last night of I think things about to get tough. Like permitting is about to be on everything. Like it's gonna get real. I feel.
So does that kind of will halt like the new construction, or like what do you think? How do you think that'll affect business?
I just think that they're gonna slow down as far as like taking it slow and understanding and checking off everything about the property that they should be doing.
Yeah.
Instead of like in most cases looking at something and being like, that's fine. I think that they're gonna actually start checking deeply, and it's gonna make them spend more time at each property, which is gonna slow everybody else's process down.
Yeah, but not every project needs like full permits. So, and like in your mind, does that, would you go and seek those properties that don't need to go through that strenuous permitting process?
I just hope that it don't get to that point.
Okay. I mean, if it does, you can.
If it does, I will.
Yeah. And I think, and that's the beauty of being an investor, right? Like so many people, even with just nationwide, like, oh, the recession is coming, and or market correction is coming, and which I believe that a correction is coming, and certain places are going to feel it more than others. But the beauty of being an investor is that you don't stop investing, you just change your strategy. Right. Mm-hmm. So you don't have to, maybe you were obviously doing new construction at one point, or maybe you were flipping properties at one point, but, you were already driving for dollars. So you're already doing what most people should be doing anyway, because of course, by the time properties get to the market and things like that, they're already marked up. So changing your strategy, whether it's going to tax lien sales and going to auctions and just figuring out ways that you can buy even lower than what you're buying now, so you can still invest and make a profit.
Right. 100%. I think right now, like even sellers who like may give you a crazy selling price, keep note of those people. Like, because when this correction comes, a lot of those people are going to want to sell. And when people like bring up all this stuff, like the recession is going to hit, the correction is about to happen, it's like a river. You just have to flow with it. Like, you have to flow with this game. And if you can't flow with it, it's just going to knock you out the river. And that's just how it is. Like, if you can't adjust, it's like a football game or anything like that. Like, if you can't adjust with what's going on, you're going to lose.
Right. What would you say? What would you say was your most difficult deal?
Oh man. So I had a deal. My first house I got under contract. I was doing lots and whatnot. So I had a house I got under contract. I actually have two stories. I had a house I had under contract. And one of my friends had a bachelor party up in Vegas. So when I did get a buyer who wanted to see it, I was going out to Vegas. So I was like, look, actually, the seller had just got out of jail. He had did 19 years in jail, and his mom had left him the house. Actually, while he was in jail, he was actually getting like $600 each month in rent sent to his account in jail. So, once he got out,
he was getting rental income in jail?
Yes.
Wow.
$600 a month in jail. He was like, man. He was like, I was the king in jail. I had food.
That's crazy, because they got you in jail working for like pennies.
Right.
So if you're depending on jail to save you, you need some rental income, prisoners. Okay.
So he had did 19 years. When he got out, he just wanted to sell it. So I saw like how hungry he was to sell. So I was like, man, he's not gonna really have a problem. And I had told him, I had a list of buyers and stuff like that. So I sent the buyer over there. I had never met this buyer. For all newbies, take note of this. I had never met this buyer before, so I didn't know, how he was or anything like that. So when I actually landed in Vegas, I'm calling the buyer. He's not answering. I'm calling the seller. He's not answering. So I'm like, all right, some fishy is going on.
Right.
So I was like, I ended up talking to the seller. He was like, man, Tyron, I appreciate your time. I appreciate everything you did for me. But me and the buyer has actually made a deal. He's actually going to buy it for what you had it under contract for. So I was like, man, wow. So I didn't worry about it. Well, I worried about it, but I didn't keep calling everybody and everything like that. I was like, when I get home, I'll take care of it. I ended up calling the title company. They told me about how I can go down to the city and record the contract. I had never knew about this. So I recorded the contract. and sent it to the buyer, and he ended up, calling me trying to square out with it and everything like that. It ended up coming out that the buyer didn't even have the money. So like he gave me a cancellation and whatnot like that. And then at that point, the seller just wanted it gone. And I found another guy. He ended up I think it was like a $25,000 assignment.
Wow.
So you
See, bad deal still did well.
You went from potentially making no money to 25 bands.
I love it. That speaks to taking action, because a lot of people.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I just think it was cool because, I mean, you ran into a mistake, but you learned. And I think that a lot of times the mistakes are your lessons, but you got paid. And I always tell people, like, in real estate, you make money by making mistakes. You make money by doing it the wrong way, and you made a lot of money. So I think that that's just inspiration for people who are listening. Like, they are holding on the sidelines because they don't want to run into a situation like that, when that situation and the frustration and the stress is actually what you need in your life. So chase that.
Let me tell you, another crazy part of that story. That guy actually is back in jail right now. He calls me like every month. The crazy part is this. So this is what I mean by flowing with the game. So my buyer actually couldn't afford to pay the full purchase price. So I got creative. I knew that my seller just wanted some passive income coming in like he had when he was in jail. So I was like, look, I think the purchase price was at $150,000. I was like, look, if I can get this buyer to pay you $5,000 a month, $5,000 a month for 12 months, and then come back and pay the balance plus 10% more after those 12 months, would you be interested? Man, he was in it. He was like, that's crazy. I'm with it. So I negotiated that. 3 days before closing, the guy goes to jail, goes back to jail. He had a warrant out for his arrest because he hadn't been going to see his probation officer. So he actually got pulled over, just going to get some food right quick. And he went to jail. So he calling me from jail like 2-3 days before the closing. And I'm just like, man, like, you know what? I'm going to just give up on this deal. Like, it's just too much stuff with this man. Like, and then the title company that I work with, they've been helping me since day one. They was like, look, don't give up on the deal. We can get a travel attorney to go inside the jail with the paperwork.
Wow.
And let you sign the paperwork, and we can still close this deal. So we ended up doing all that. The travel attorney, and man, we got the deal closed. That guy's in jail right now. He actually the 12 months has been up. So he actually have $125,000 just sitting at the title company.
Wow.
And just crazy. He got like another year left. We actually still talk. I send him money.
Why does he keep going to jail?
Send him some books. Send him Rich Dad.
What was the beginning? Why did he go to jail the first time?
He had an attempted murder charge, and he got
Jeez.
years for that. He has a drug addiction problem. So he got caught with some drugs and stuff. I try to. He's like, man, this man he's like 58. So like, yeah, I try to talk to him.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you say he call you every month. What y'all be talking about?
What do you guys talk about?
Say he what?
That's cool.
He actually want to do real estate investing.
He has the money now.
Man.
Yeah. You out here starting this ministry. Now, right. For real, listen, he gonna get out of jail, and you gonna be the reason he don't go back.
Man, I pray daily that's the situation.
That's very interesting. That is a very interesting story.
Yeah.
Didn't know it was going there.
Yeah. So like when it got to the point where I was able to close it with this guy being in jail, I was like, man, real estate is powerful. Like,
right.
It all depends on you. Like, how creative are you going to be? Because if I would have like just from the beginning when I was in Vegas, if I would have just said, you know what, I ain't even worrying about it. Like, that's $25,000 that I would have passed up.
Mm-hmm.
So I just always tell everybody, like, no matter what the situation is, try to work through it, because on the other end of that is something much, much greater. It's something greater.
And I wanted to ask you too, like you said, when you got home, you called the title company. What made you think to call the title company?
I was actually calling them to let them know that I was about to send a cancellation email to them and get out of the
It was like, what? Why?
It was like, why? Like, you got $25,000 assignment. Why would you get out of this? And I told them the story, and it was like, man,
go and record it.
Go and record it.
Wow.
And the other situation, it was like, there's travel attorneys. They'll charge you like a couple $100s to go into jail. And
right. But I love that so much because, you know, like Charles said, like you didn't give up. And, you know, so many people would have just, like you said, walked away, left it alone, say, you know, forget it. Like, I'm going to turn my attention towards something else. And you was like, you know, I'm going to go ahead and, you know, follow through with it and call the title company and close it out and do everything, you know, the proper way. And that ended up saving you and bringing you to, you know, again, make a nice chunk of change on that. So that's pretty cool. Right.
Yeah, I really appreciated that one. And actually, my buyer was the story is just crazy. My buyer was actually a sheriff, a New Orleans sheriff. So he was actually able to go in with the travel. He was actually able to get the travel attorney in, like, without issues, no nothing.
That's crazy.
Yeah. They was FaceTiming me from the jail.
So the sheriff bought the house from the convict.
You said they was FaceTiming from jail. That's crazy. Is that the name of the episode, Charles?
I think so. That and the grandma line.
So, so you said that was your most difficult deal. What was the best deal?
That'd probably be my most difficult and best deal because I learned so much on it. Man, I learned so much on that deal. That was like a 2.5 month process. Like, I had to, in between that, I had to do so much. Like, I had to do a lot. So that's when I said I had people on the contract for 90 days. That was it. I got on the contract for 90 days.
How old are you?
27.
27. And I think that your story is inspiring, but mostly it's inspiring because you're taking action. And it doesn't seem like you are like putting barriers in front of your success. You're just kind of running towards what you want, despite what it looks like. So I think that should be inspiration for anybody who's listening to this show. Like, the key is action. The key is not perfection. The key is not the greatest plan. The key is not a flawless deal. The deal is, are you going to continue to press forward? So shout out to you. We have a few last quick questions.
And
Rashauna's going to keep cutting me off.
And the key is telling the truth, right? I think that repeats throughout, you know.
That's a good point.
Your entire process here, your entire story, your entire, you know, just everything. Like you said at the very beginning of this interview, which I wholeheartedly agree with, like, this is a business where integrity wins. I mean, in life, integrity wins, but I think especially in real estate, because we see so many people who lack integrity in this business. You know, when you deal with real estate, when you deal with contracts, when you deal with dollar signs, like, there's so many lies that can be told, and it's unnecessary, right? But when you operate, you know, from an abundance mindset, and you just want to do everything right and get paid, like, ain't nothing wrong with that. And then you end up learning, for one, and two, you end up, you know, coming out on top.
And people want to help you too, it seems like.
Right. So, like, a guy that I had started mentoring, this guy, like, we went to the same high school together. He's like 24, 25. And I'm giving him my story and everything, and I'm telling him about recording the contract. And he took that totally the wrong way. So I found out that he was out here recording contract, getting people under contracts at any price, recording it. And just like when the people would move on to somebody else and try to close, you know, they got to go through him because it was a clause.
Wow.
So I'm like, nah, that's not what you want to do. Like,
right.
That's a bad jacket to have on your name. Like, you don't want to be known for that. And then a lot of these people will even take you to court and, like, man, you don't have the money to pay those fees. You know, those people talk about, like, they lost out on $50,000. You got to come up with that money when that judge rule in their favor. So, like, a lot of people, all newbies, just be 100 legit and straight up and honest, man. It's gonna get you so much further than a quick dollar. And I like don't get motivated by the dollar amount. Get motivated by the action. You know, and man, it's gonna take you so much further in this real estate game.
So before you go, the commercial property that you sent to us, did we discuss that already?
A little bit. That's the barbershop.
Yeah. Okay. All righty. Cool. So I think we did cover that then. We didn't leave anything out, or did we? All right. Cool. So I'm gonna ask you the wrap up questions, and then we'll let you kind of shout yourself out and tell people where they can find you. So first question is, who is somebody that you look up to and why?
Nipsey Hussle. Just because he was just so involved into his community. He didn't have a problem with giving people game. And he was a man at the end of the day, man. It's just hard to come by somebody who you can relate to as far as, you know, our color and our age bracket, and somebody who just really stand up like that.
Right. What do you think sets apart successful investors and wholesalers from those who give up, fail, and never get started?
Action. If you're gonna do this is a 24/7, 365, 366 in a leap year. You can't be doing this part-time. You can't do this when you feel like doing this. You gotta do this when you don't feel like doing this, because that's when it really counts. Like if you do things when you feel like doing it, it's not gonna be too much on it. Like you're not gonna get much from it. It's about those times where you don't feel like getting up, where you don't feel like meeting with this seller who like keep giving you the runaround, and where you don't want to like keep showing up to this person's door, when you don't want to keep calling them. Like I saw a post the other day where it said 99% of the things that make people successful don't even make it to social media. And that's that. Like
Right.
people, you know, we put the glamorous things on social media, but these things that we've been talking about throughout this interview, like that's not gonna make it to social media.
Right.
What's your favorite business book?
Rich Dad Poor Dad.
What does wealth mean to you?
Like what's my image of it?
I think that's good. Yeah.
Wealth is being able to pass down funds, knowledge, and education down the generations. For me, that's what I feel wealth is. I just feel like it's having an abundance of things to pass down to your grandkids, your great grandkids, your kids. I feel like that's real wealth, and
Nice.
able to give them something that's more stable than you have.
Dope. Any last words, Rashauna Scott, or questions?
Nope. No last questions. Thank you for coming on. Yeah, I'm inspired. Next time your friend call you, tell him I said what's up. Tell him on the interview, and tell him we look forward to having him on the podcast when he get out.
Yeah. Signing deals from behind walls.
Right. We want to hear about how he, collecting them rent checks and,
Right.
His first investment with that 6 figures when he get out.
Right.
Yeah, he's getting out right before Christmas. He probably gonna call me in a field about the Saints game. He like talking stuff about the Saints. So
that's cool.
Yeah, you gotta have a deal waiting on him when he get out.
Man, I got one waiting on him.
Yeah.
I got one waiting on him.
One thing I like about your story that I didn't get a chance to highlight is the fact that you wholesale your own investments. And I think that that's such a key. It's where I'm trying to get to. But it's like you put yourself in such a good position where you buy the property and they're already offering you 40, 60 over what you acquired it for. You're like, nah, this is me. So I've been harping on that for a while, and it's cool to see somebody executing on that. So before we let you go, where can people find out more about you? Where can they follow you? Where can they support whatever you have going
on? So I'm located in New Orleans, Louisiana. My Instagram is DuckSauce34. I don't really post much content on real estate, but I'm about to start. I really want to start, helping people around me as far as local people get into this real estate game. helping them understand how to like stabilize themselves in this industry. So I'm gonna be posting much more real estate stuff, real estate related things. So yeah, you can find me at DuckSauce34. Yeah. Today you asked me what my LLC is earlier. It's 34 acres. So my football number in high school was 34. And when I closed the first deal, the first wholesale deal, the attorney at the table asked me, what's my end goal with real estate? And I said it'd be cool to own 34 acres of land.
Nice.
My LLC is 34 acres.
You don't got to wait for the government to give you your acres. You just got to get your own acres.
I'm going to get them. To get them.
Rashauna Scott, where can people find out more about you, and where can they? What events do you have coming up? Shout out yourself.
So I'm Rashauna Scott everywhere: Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Rashauna Scott Real Estate on my Facebook page, and Flipping in Heels on Instagram. What events do I have? So I have a women's event, women's real estate investing event in Philly coming up, and I think I'm speaking I'll be in Indianapolis, Atlanta, and possibly Louisville and Denver. I'll be a couple places before the end of the year. So
it's lit.
Let's connect if you are there. And my female mentoring group is finally dropping, so that'll be on Instagram.
I got you. I'm definitely going to stay up to date with both of you guys. Me and Ty really go back and forth messages all the time. Yep. But I definitely have to catch one of your events also. Check you out. Get y'all down here. Get y'all.
She's the same in person as she is on the internet.
Man, I see it. I see it. No matter who story, who Instagram or social media I see her on, I can't lie. She like the same person, like off and on. Like it's cool.
Thank you.
Episode 123 is lit. Thank you guys for tuning in. My name is Charles Oglesby, also known as Todd Millionaire. Check us out on Instagram at Todd Investments, also at Todd Millionaire, at Bless a Black Man, because it's a movement. Episode 123 signing off.